No, it's gonna be fine.
Okay, it's gonna be
Everything's gonna be fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. From Ross from Friends when he finds out that Joey and Rachel are dating. It's fine.
When he invites
Making
Charlie, is that her name?
Yeah.
Charlie over. That was actually one of the better episodes. I really enjoyed that one. He's just holding them.
Like, it's really hot. All right, I am recording now.
Okay. This is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is Tommy and Jacob's Mixtape. Hi, everybody.
Yay! Hey.
Happy spooky season.
And welcome to Tommy and Jacob's podcast mixtape. God damn it, Tommy and Jacob's That's a great way to begin this, our premiere episode. And I'm mistitling us.
So yeah, this is Tommy and Jacob's Mixtape.
Yay!
That is a podcast.
It is. It is a podcast.
It is a movie review podcast with me, Tommy.
And then me, Jacob.
Hi, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Like your loud shirt.
Actually, you got kind of a loud shirt on too.
Oh wait, you wearing Spider-Man? I'm wearing Batman.
Yeah.
Hey!
Yeah, we're wearing our counterparts.
That's so funny. They don't even register.
Yeah.
Because this is a really loud Batman shirt too.
That's a really cool Batman shirt.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't remember I got it. I've had it for a while. It's all a bunch of different kinds of Batman. Michelle and Em were looking at it the other day, and they were like, "I really like the mummy one. No, I like the caveman one." It was funny. They're like picking out which ones they like the best.
I like the Scottish one.
I like the rainbow
one.
one.
The kilt.
I like the rainbow one. Anyways, yeah, there's a guy with the kilt, huh?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever actually looked at this shirt before.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay.
Oh yeah. So, for our premiere, we decided to go right into The Faculty.
Well, because we're going to be doing spooky season.
Yeah, we're doing spooky season, so we're not. It's not just The Faculty. So the next couple episodes, we'll be discussing two movies. This one, The Faculty, and then we'll also be discussing Idle Hands. Our focus with that is we're going to be just kind of discussing the horror genre in general and how these movies hold up with that. We specifically chose not to do slasher films because we want to kind of like maybe compare them to those and I feel like there's an oversaturation of slasher films.
Yeah.
So to kind of like think outside of the box of just, your regular horror, like Halloween.
Yeah. Also because these two
focus.
would be considered like cult classics.
Yeah.
So that's going to be kind of going on the maybe the unknown end of this stuff.
And then we also, with our side B, we'll just be kind of focusing a little bit on like horror themed like video games or shows and stuff like that.
And those are a little like less planned, so we'll kind of know the same time you do.
Yeah.
It seems like
you'll hear about it firsthand like us.
Yes. So do you want to get into it or?
Yeah, let's jump in. Let's jump in. So The Faculty,
1998.
Yes, released December 25th, 1998.
I know, it's a Christmas movie.
That's a very strange
Christmas movie.
Christmas movie. Yeah, it's like
I saw that too.
like,
I was like, huh?
Merry Christmas, everybody. Teachers are aliens. It's got a 6.5 on IMDb.
Yes.
And do you want to give the little synopsis?
My little synopsis?
Yeah.
Okay, my synopsis for today is group of teenagers attacked by mind-controlling aliens allergic to cocaine.
I like that you write this after you watch the movie. Because you kind of you nail it on the head.
Actually, this one I wrote before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wrote it and then I was like, oh man, I kind of broke my tradition, but whatever. I was like, it's fine. Because then I also saw someone, I think it was someone on IMDb's review wrote, Breakfast Club meets Invasion of Body Snatchers.
Yeah, which
I was like,
I think I've read
good.
that before, actually.
Yeah, I was like, I've read a couple people have that analysis of it, and it's actually, that one hits it on the head pretty hard.
No, totally.
Yeah. But yeah, so the concept is this normal invasion at a high school.
Yeah. Alien
and that's
parasite.
that's kind of it. There's nothing like groundbreaking about the actual concept itself.
They kind of like talk about it inside of the movie itself about
invasion
of the body snatchers. And also, I can't remember. Oh, damn it. I meant to write it down, but what Invasion of the Body Snatchers was originally based off of as well. Let's go into movies released for the same year.
Yeah, which is okay. So I remember last time we were talking about maybe not a great year, a bad year. This is not a bad year. This is not a great year. This is just kind of a year. Some cool stuff came out. Some not cool stuff came out. It was just kind of all over the place.
I don't know. I feel like Saving Private Ryan, Armageddon. Dude, those movies are like huge.
I like Saving Private Ryan. I don't really care about Armageddon.
Dude, Armageddon was like, it had a great cast.
And Deep Impact came out.
Well, yeah, but Armageddon is, dude. Are you?
I know.
No,
No, but I'm just saying that argument that we talked about.
Yeah. It was like,
They both came out.
Yeah. But like Armageddon, like I don't know, Bruce Willis, Ben Affleck, Liv Tyler.
No, but I know I get that, but I'm also just like because then you had also.
I mean, I look at
Waterboy.
The Waterboy. That's like one of my favorite childhood movies. There's something about Mary. I watched a lot of adult humor when I was like 10, 11, 12 that I should not have been watching. He's like, there's something about Mary. I loved that as a kid as well.
Maybe okay. Let me then rephrase that. This wasn't a year for me.
That's fair. Because yeah, Lethal Weapon 4. Hello.
Yeah.
The Truman Show.
That's
Patch
a good one.
Adams. But yeah, so those are like
The Prince of Egypt.
We pretty much just like listed like the top 10 movies of that year already.
Rush Hour. The first Rush Hour came out.
I mean, this seems to be more. This year was more of a year of like comedy. It seems like comedies were kind of like a big thing. Like Saving Private Ryan and Armageddon were like the two biggest movies, and those are definitely not comedies.
Yeah.
But yeah, this year it seemed to be much more 1998 seemed to be a lot more of a lighthearted year for films coming out.
Well, even look at it too. Yeah, it looks like a lot of lighthearted, fun movies, and then serious, quote unquote, serious movies.
Yeah,
because I mean, because then you even have like City of Angels.
Yeah.
And then The Mask of Zorro, which is like a fun action movie.
Enemy of the State. The X-Files movie came out this year.
X-Files. Godzilla with Matthew Broderick, which I love. I don't care what anyone says about that movie. That movie's great.
Well, Blade came out this year.
Oh, yeah, Blade came out. But yeah, so, Ever After, Cinderella Story. I do love that movie.
Is that the one with Drew Barrymore?
Yeah.
I vaguely remember that.
You should watch it again. Yeah, it's cute.
But like, Small Soldiers came out this year.
Oh yeah, it did. That's going on the list. So yeah, it was and then you had Faculty, which landed at 52, and it grossed $40 million,
which strangely
was a lot.
Yeah,
I was surprised. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, I mean, it's 40. I mean, its budget was only 11 million. Oh wait, no, that's its opening. Never mind. But also, I mean, other than like the movies that came out this year, let's also kind of like think about the movies that were coming out around this time, the horror movies, the slasher films and whatnot. Because, I mean, we have like a huge, I mean, I know, start with Scream, you know?
Yeah.
Because Scream came out in 1996 and it revived this horror genre.
Well, because it was at the time its writing was its own thing.
Scream?
Yeah.
Oh, no, 100%. But also in for a decade or so, horror movies have been plagued with just sequel after sequel. And, you know, it's like or direct, like Leprechaun 3, I think, came out the same year as The Faculty. And it was just a direct to video release.
No surprise.
You know, you're getting a lot of like The Howling 6, Wishmaster 4, you know, like through like the mid 90s going, you know, through all this time. And then, yeah, Scream comes out and revives this horror genre of teen slasher films. It's bringing back the high schoolers and the college kids that are going to see these movies for the cheap thrills and the screams and the sex appeal and the blood and all that stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's one of my favorite times for like horror movies because, you know me, I'm a huge horror movie buff from the 80s. Like, I love my Nightmare, I love my Freddy, I love my Jason, Friday the 13th, I love Michael, you know, all of that.
You like the classic slashers.
I love, the classic 80s, 70s, 80s, like slasher stuff, you know?
Well, yeah, and it's also just kind of like around this time because let's think from like 97 to 99. Because in like 98, when this came out, you had Blade, Bride of Chucky, Still Know What You Did Last Summer, the sequel of...
Yes.
Psycho with Vince Vaughn.
Oh, that's the shot-for-shot remake.
Yeah, the shot-for-shot. Urban Legend and the Japanese Ring.
Ju-on? Oh, wait, no, Ringu.
Ringu. And then the year before, you had Funny Games, which I would love to watch that again.
The original Funny Games?
Yeah, the original Funny Games. Cube.
Oh, yeah.
Event Horizon, and then Know What You Did Last Summer, the first one. And then Alien 4? Alien Resurrection?
Alien Resurrection, yeah. Which actually isn't that bad.
That's the fourth one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's just in these years, it kind of was jumping kind of all around. because you had your like Blade, that started the action horror kind of. Not started, but that was like an action horror that was coming out.
I never really considered Blade a horror, though. I know it's like listed in horror because like vampires are in it and whatnot.
I would say horror. Think about it.
Mm.
He gets burnt and he comes back to life and he's chasing her through the hallways and. I
There's
went to go see that as a
nothing-
kid and my dad had to take me out. I got scared.
Okay? I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't a pussy when I was a kid.
You're a desensitized monster.
Well, I mean, because dude, the first horror movie I ever watched by myself was Child's Play, and I was 7 years old, and I watched it alone in my basement, and I was terrified as a 7-year-old, but like I got used to just like that terror, I guess, you know, because like the next time I didn't really get scared in a movie was watching The Exorcist when I was like 11, and that was just more of like. Like The Exorcist just freaked me out because like how good the makeup was on the girl. I can't remember her name.
People ran out of theaters when that came out.
Yeah, no, The Exorcist like
I did a number of my mom.
Yeah, same for my mom. So like being 11 years old, like The Exorcist was terrifying. But like I would watch like Friday the 13th or like Nightmare on Elm Street, and like like there was moments where I'd be like, oh, this is scary, but like I don't know. At the end of the day, I was like, I know this isn't real. Although I did have a lot of nightmare-fueled dreams with Freddy Krueger in them.
I didn't know there were dreams.
Yeah, right.
Well, also, let me tell you funny about this is that this movie specifically too. This gave me complete nightmares. I remember,
Faculty?
Yeah, and watching it again, I was like, I get it, but not really because I'm so desensitized now.
Yeah.
But I remember sneaking into the office where there was a TV late at night when I was supposed to be asleep. It was on cable. I watched it, and then I thought everyone was fucking alien. I didn't trust my dog.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
I slept on my parents' floor for a while.
So wait, how old were you? Like 6?
6.
Okay.
So by the time I was on cable, what, a year?
It was probably like 2 years. So like,
So I was like 8, 9.
I mean, it came out in '98, so like maybe late '90s, early 2000s.
Yeah. So yeah, so probably like 10.
I don't know when it came out. I didn't see it in theaters, but it was definitely like movie night rent. Like my family wasn't more like, we didn't really go to the movies that often, so I didn't see a lot of movies in theaters. I saw them a lot more like as soon as they were like released on VHS.
Yeah.
Our trip to Hollywood Video, or we would rent, or also Albertsons rented videos, and we would go to Albertsons and rent videos as well.
I didn't know you could rent videos at Albertsons.
This Albertsons did.
Oh.
You know, kind of like how City Market had their like little like selection.
Is that gone now?
They're still selling a bunch of stuff, but there's no rent anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's an idea. So when it comes to this, in the 6.5 rating, it is definitely a cult classic. And watching it again now, I totally think I get why.
I mean, no, it's fitting for the time 100%.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's a fun watch too because it's one of those, and we'll get into that in a second. There's a lot of people in that movie.
Dude, I know. Yeah, we aren't going to go through the full cast list.
No. There's a lot of
We'll
fucking
just
people.
like bring up like, make some. So yeah, let's stop talking so much about the time around it, because I'm sure we'll do a lot more of that as we're talking about the movie itself and just in the next couple of episodes, and actually get into the faculty. So let's start with the director.
Director Robert Rodriguez.
Which this was one of his first, but one of his first films that he directed.
And some other notable mentions for Rodriguez is the El Mariachi series.
Yes.
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yes. Wait, what am I on here? Sorry, I'm on producing credits. Sorry.
Spy Kids 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay. I was completely unaware that he did the Spy Kids movies.
What?
I've never seen them.
Oh, you should at least see the first one.
I mean,
It's a fucking trip. They're so weird.
I just like when they came, like what year did 2001? I was already like 14.
Oh, so yeah, you totally
14,
missed them.
15. Yeah, like I'm a 14, 15-year-old kid seeing Spy Kids going like, fucking little kids see this shit. So like, you know, and yeah, I'm not going to go see Spy Kids.
Yeah, because I was 9 or 10.
Yeah, it's perfect time for you.
I think as an adult, you should watch them one day because they are a fucking trip.
Yeah, sure, why not? I mean, I'm not going to shit on Spy Kids, but like I was not in the age demographic technically.
Yeah. That's right.
But yeah, no, like
Because especially at that age, no longer a boy, but not yet a man.
yeah, exactly. So before the faculty, he did From Dusk Till Dawn, Desperado, El Mariachi, and one of my favorite movies, he did a segment in 4 Rooms. Just a side note, Tim Roth one of the best physical performances I've ever seen from anybody. Tim Roth is amazing in it.
I do. Well, Tim Roth is just great too.
Yeah,
I like
exactly.
Tim Roth a lot.
But yeah, so he was doing stuff. I mean, he had made a name for himself, but before he did The Faculty. But I mean, The Faculty just I feel like The Faculty kind of. How did Spy Kids come out of this? Like, hold on. Like, you look at his like history before Spy Kids, and it's like, where? And he wrote Spy Kids too.
Well, that's the thing. But if you just kind of look at his entire repertoire, like weirdly, this is so weird and out of character. It's almost in character for what he does.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because Spy Kids is pretty stylized too.
Well, and then look at Grindhouse. He did Grindhouse.
No, exactly. I was gonna say in like Grindhouse, Machete,
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
Oh, do you hear that it was announced Machete Kills in Space?
Yes, I did.
I'm stoked. I'm gonna watch the shit out of that.
So yeah, this is it's an early Robert Rodriguez, and he does a great job for the film, like directing the film, in my opinion.
Yeah,
you know.
But again, it's like in some ways, even if I don't particularly like the movie, I like his direction, and I'll watch it and probably enjoy it, even if I think it's kind of stupid. Which there are a couple of movies that he has done that I'm like, not my favorite. Like,
yeah.
But I always like his, just like his direction.
Totally. So the writers, there was two people that wrote the story, David Wechter and Bruce Kimmel, both of which, I mean, Bruce Kimmel seems to have a little bit more of a career than David Wechter, but they didn't really, I didn't see anything that they had much of a hand in.
Nothing really stood out.
But the man that I want to bring up,
Kevin Williamson,
motherfucking
Kevin Williamson,
because he wrote Scream
1, 2, and 3.
Not 3.
No, he did. Oh, wait, no, he did. He
wrote the characters for.
He wrote the characters.
He's part of. He wrote Scream 4.
There's a Scream 4. Oh yeah, there's a Scream 4.
They're working on Scream 5 right now.
Oh, okay.
You know,
and he also did one episode of the TV series.
Yeah, he's also like given credit for. I mean, they probably like, hey, do you want to write one?
Yeah. Have you ever watched the script?
I tried to. I got like 4 or 5 episodes in, and I don't know, just kind of like fell out of it.
Okay.
But it's Kevin Williamson and Wes Craven were the guys that did this revival for this like horror genre.
Well, yeah, because they even did the screenplay for Know What You Did Last Summer.
Exactly, and that's
Cursed.
Yeah, no, like he's like kind of like the modern like horror guy.
Yeah, he's the modern boogeyman screenplay writer.
Yeah, and he only did the screenplay for The Faculty, but you can tell he has so many little nods in The Faculty to like Scream and like this like era of horror films as well.
Yeah, and that's what's kind of cool to like knowing like if you do end up watching this, and let's say you are like a Scream fan, well, also anything that we review on you need to watch anyways. But if you are like a Scream fan, go into this knowing that because it has a Scream feel to it.
Yeah,
it feels like it almost feels like it's in the universe of Scream.
Well, same with like if you watch I Know What You Did Last Summer, the same feeling.
Yeah,
you know, it's like these late 90s films. Like I mean, it's probably just like his hand, like his writing, like touch being, you know, the aesthetic of him being influenced into this. Because like Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Scream 2, Teaching Mrs. Tingle, he wrote that, which is awesome. I didn't even know he wrote that. I haven't seen that in a really long time.
I don't know what that is.
Oh,
is it a horror movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's pretty much just Katie Holmes kills her teacher. It's Helen Mirren.
Oh, okay. I've never seen it, but
yeah.
the Katie Holmes killing teacher sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cursed. I liked Cursed.
Yeah, he wrote Cursed and he wrote Scream 4. I mean, he seems like he started to work more on like, well, he worked on Dawson's Creek for a while, which makes sense as well.
And Vampire Diaries.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of made me laugh.
I mean, he's had a great career, and he's like probably like secretly influenced a lot of the stuff that you grew up watching. But yeah, no, I got really excited because I didn't put 2 and 2 together, and so I was like, oh my god, it's this guy. And I have a big love for Kevin Williamson.
I do too, especially once I looked at his entire filmography, like list and everything. I just realized I was like, oh yeah, like you said, very much influenced. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, still to this, I pretty much watch Scream at least once every year during this spooky season.
Oh yeah, and Scream, one nice little parallel between Scream and The Faculty, and like, well, kind of the Scream series, is like there's always like this. This was kind of like a stamp, I think, for like this era, and maybe it might just be Kevin Williamson that I'm thinking about it. Is there's always this like 8 to 12 minute like intro before before like the credits or like the title drop and whatnot, where it's setting up the horror of the film. It's setting up the story. So like in Scream, it's Drew Barrymore getting killed by Ghostface. In this one, it's the coach attacking the principal.
Oh yeah, fucking
Robert Patrick.
Yeah, Terminator.
Yeah,
that was like, he looks familiar. I'm like, yeah, Terminator.
Yeah. And I just gotta also say, like, the acting in this movie is actually pretty good.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, but
it sells everything. Like, there's a couple of scenes you're like, but,
Yeah, I mean, but that's even like it was. They got that's the thing. They got a lot of good actors, but not. I mean, they got a girl in it, Bebe.
Yeah,
which I was like, that's weird.
I was like, oh, that's another reason why I recognized her.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I didn't realize that. Did you want to kind of go in who's in it just briefly?
Let's just like that's a perfect transition into like the starring. I mean, just throw them out there.
But you don't want to go through all of them.
I mean, Josh Hartnett.
This is his first movie.
Is it really?
That he's credited for.
What?
Yeah, that's what it said on his list, at least.
I didn't notice that. Because I didn't really dive into the actors very much, because I was like, there's just way too many. Also, that look that he has at the end of the movie with like the black shirt and like the long sleeved white coming out of his under, that was like 100% my style in high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you have his goofy haircut too?
Yeah.
His weird little horns.
I mean, it just like, it was bedhead, but I dyed my hair black and it was just messy.
That's a good look. God, I love Josh Hartnett.
No, his first one is Halloween 20 years later.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then I
but like The Faculty and Halloween 20 years later, they came out in the same year.
No, but Faculty came out. Oh no, Faculty came out later. Okay, so Halloween H2O is his first one, and then The Faculty.
And then the Virgin Suicides after that. Damn. Okay. So let's keep going through actors.
So yeah, so Josh Hartnett,
Elijah Wood,
who
you all know who he is.
Salma Hayek, which I was really surprised about when she came on the screen.
Salma Hayek, yeah.
Jon
Stewart. Robert Patrick, we already said him.
Laura Harris. Jordana Brewster.
Oh,
who was also
Delilah.
Yeah,
she's from Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, which I thought that was kind of funny when I was looking at her. All I wrote down was Fast and the Furious series, mainly because I was like, that's a lot of her time was doing those movies.
Yeah. Clea Duvall,
which I did not realize that she's in The Astronaut's Wife.
Oh yeah, Famke Janssen, fucking Jean Grey.
Oh yeah, that was another surprising one.
Yeah.
Piper Laurie.
Usher.
That was the most. So Usher and Jon Stewart were the most random possible. I was like, is that Usher? I'm like, yep, that's Usher.
And it's also weird. It's like, it's such a small part. Like, he was like really big at this time.
Yeah. Well, like also, but like if what you're saying is, if you look at the cover art, he's right on front.
Yeah, no, they literally used his name to draw audiences in, and he like has like maybe 10 minutes screen time.
And all those 10 minutes is him being a dick.
Yeah.
He's just a bully the entire time. That was really funny. I liked the Usher one a lot. I was like, okay.
And then like that, and that's I think it's kind of like all of the most notable names.
Chris McDonald.
Oh yeah,
he's Elijah Wood's dad.
Yeah, that's right.
He's in it for like 30 seconds, but I was just like, oh, okay, that's random. I want to know. I kind of try to find more on it, but I want to know the whole Jon Stewart thing. Why the fuck was he in this movie?
Because he had an acting career before he was on the Daily Show.
I know, but why this one?
He I don't know. He got a casting call. He auditioned and he got it.
I don't know.
Did you notice that there was actually like a weird like deleted scene through the credits where with him? Because like, you know how like it's going through the credits and it's like is all the actors and whatnot. When they go to Jon Stewart, it's him turning around and he has an eye patch on and his hand is all bandaged up trying to grab a cup of coffee and he drops it.
Oh, so he like lived through that?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. I must have looked away for a minute. I didn't notice it. I was even like fast forwarding after that to see if there's like a twist at the end that the aliens are still around or whatever.
Yeah. No, because this has its very perfect happy little ending. All right. Have any other thoughts as we move forward into just talking about the movie and going into the horror of it? The horror.
What is that?
I don't remember.
Okay, anyways. I don't know. Maybe I'll also take a future. Welcome to the world of tomorrow.
All right. Well, I do want to one thing that I really like that separates this movie from like the slasher genre at this time, because like we were talking about like Scream. I Know What You Did Last Summer, Urban Legends, were like those revived this like slasher thing from like, you know, Jason and Friday the 13th, Halloween, blah blah blah. It's like in a classic like slasher film, it's more like an almost like who done it. Like there's tension of like who's like in the first one more importantly, like the first of these movies is like who's the killer, like why are people dropping like flies and whatnot. Well, as opposed to this one, we know right from the top because of this like opening sequence that the coach and one of the teachers there's something not right with them, because like in the first opening 8 minutes actually the very opening scene is Offspring playing, so it's like setting up like teenage times, because you know teenagers love Offspring.
That's who it was.
Oh, you couldn't figure it out?
I was sitting there, I was like, I know who this, I can't think of their name right now.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was like, what a very fitting, Offspring. Yeah. Like,
you know, and it's a football practice, and you know, high schooler football players are not doing so. They have a really rough coach, I guess is the best way to put it. And that's Robert
He's an
Patrick.
asshole.
Yeah, he's an asshole. He's yelling at them. He's like throwing them around. He's flipping over like the bench of the Gatorade and whatnot. And he's like, hit the showers, and you know, and like
pussies.
like
get out there and kill them.
Yeah, pretty much. And then it's like a weird. It's like he's angry, but then all of a sudden, like someone like approaches him, and you don't really see who it is, and it just kind of cuts quickly. It's like there's an ominous like setting for that, but then it cuts to like the teachers talking in the faculty lounge, and it's like, oh, you know, budget cuts, getting stuff, and then so it's obviously a late night meeting, and it sets up really well the classic like, hey, I'll be right back.
Gonna get naked, take a shower, man. What's going on?
Because the principal, played by Bibi or Bebe, I don't know. We need to figure out how to pronounce her name, because it seems like Bibi. Yeah,
Sure, whatever.
You know,
Bebe.
Bebe.
I'm gonna call it.
You
Bebe.
just like Bebe.
I like calling her Bebe.
All right. She's like, oh, I left my keys in my office. I'll be right back. You guys go on ahead.
Breaking one of the main rules of Scream.
Exactly.
You
know,
never
no,
say that.
it's set. It's that horror movie setup.
Yeah.
You know, she's isolating herself in a dark school. You know, it's like, you know, and there's just hallways for her to run around through and whatnot. And that's when the coach like attacks her, and it gets it's super rapey. Like he's like, you look very pretty tonight.
Yeah, I need a pencil. You're like,
yeah, what kind of pencil are you looking for, bud?
okay.
You know, but it like quickly like turns to just like horror when he jams the pencil through her hand, and it's like then the like fear is just immediately there, and she's trying to run from it, and it actually puts up a good fight against him. You know,
Yeah.
like throws the coffee pot on his head. When she finally gets to the door, there's like the drama teacher, and she's like trying to like stay here. I'm gonna have to go get my keys. Finally, she finally does get out after like a little bit of chase between the coach and the principal, and so she grabs a pair of scissors to try to protect herself from the coach. When she finally gets out is when you realize that the drama teacher herself is now also infected somehow, and then the scissors come down on the principal, and then the faculty.
Yeah, so yeah, you're saying it's following the Scream intro thing.
Which also that could just be a Kevin Williams thing.
Well, when we start watching more, because let's keep that in mind.
Because like I Know What You Did Last Summer
in.
has a very similar thing like that as well.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen I Know What You Did Last Summer? Jennifer Love Hewitt, Ben. Hey man, I was like a 12-year-old like watching all of these.
Oh, because there's a joke about her in that.
Yeah, her and Nev Campbell.
Her and Nev Campbell. Yeah.
Her and Nev Campbell's sex tapes.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I was like, hey, nice nod there, Kevin.
Well,
I see what you're doing, man.
I pointed it out, and I wasn't articulate. I was like, oh, never mind. I don't know. I don't know how to say it right now.
then it just like really sets up this like the rest like starts moving into just the rest of the movie.
Well, this is when it becomes very Breakfast Club, and it starts showing the class system of every character.
They set up the horror of the film, and now they're setting up the heroes, the main characters.
Yeah, so you have like Elijah Wood, who's like the kicking bag for the jocks.
Casey,
Josh Hartnett, who is Zeke,
the bad boy.
He's the bad boy drug dealer burnout who needs to repeat his senior year because he doesn't care.
He doesn't care, but he's actually super smart.
But he's crazy smart.
You got Stan, the jock,
who's hot. How do you say his name?
Stan.
Hatsy.
Are you trying to say his last name?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Hatosy. Hatsy. Sean
Hattasy.
Thank you, Sean Hattasy.
Do you have dyslexia?
No. I have bad handwriting. Stan, who's the jock that he's the I just want to dance kind of character.
Yeah.
He's the jock that doesn't want to be the jock anymore.
He doesn't want to be the jock anymore. He wants to and then you got Delilah, who is the
Brewster.
She's the prom queen, the head cheerleader. She's the perfect girl, is hot, good grades, really attractive, runs the school.
Kind of a bitch.
Kinda.
She's not very nice to a lot of people.
No, she's not.
Duval, who is Stokes, and she's kind of another kind of Z kind of outcast.
Yeah, she's the
emo girl.
She's the emo loner girl that that was cutting herself at that time. No offense to people that have done that, but
Harris is Mary Beth, the cute Southern girl, new in town
from Atlanta,
Georgia. She got a little accent.
And I think that's all of them.
That's all the kids.
Yeah.
There's the teachers, but
they go. You get a little bit more insight with the teachers, like the history teacher is an alcoholic. Salma Hayek, who's the nurse, the sick nurse. I liked that. Mm-hmm. It's like she's the one taking care of everyone, and she can't take care of herself. Mm-hmm. John Stewart, who's the science teacher.
Mrs. Olson, who's the drama teacher you were talking about, that helped with the stabbing.
Yep.
And then Jansen is Mrs. Burke, who, what does she teach?
Which one is she? Oh, she teaches English. She's the most timid teacher. Like, there's no way that she would be teaching English. Like, those kids would run over her.
What do you think that it means when...
And the weird sexual tension between her and Josh Hartnett through the entire...
He's like fucking 19 at this point.
Yeah, and she's like the young teacher as well. But it's just like, ugh. I don't know, when I was a kid, I was all about it. But now that I'm 30 years old, I'm like, that's wrong.
Well, she has that bad librarian vibe to her.
Yeah.
Their look. So basically, like, I guess it's pretty much covering every archetype for a horror movie possible.
Yeah, exactly. Well, not even just a horror, like just horror movie, but like every archetype in just like teen movies.
Teen movie.
Yeah. So
and like, then Usher is the dick, like we said.
He's the other jock.
Yeah, but he's the football.
Yeah. He's the one that's like, he becomes the team captain after Stan quits. Zeke's like selling coke, or it's not coke. It's like it's caffeine.
Speed.
It's speed, pretty much.
It's like a homemade speed, basically, because he says it's basically caffeine with other household products.
Yeah.
So it shows.
Oh, and there's also the older teacher that dies. Well, yeah. So like there's this tension that's like in the faculty lounge as well as like the coach and the drama teacher, Mrs. Olson.
Yeah, Mrs. Olson.
And like, it's like they are obviously like, they are obviously not human anymore, because they're like, it's like, when you see an alien, it's like, I am a human. Hello, you look very pretty today.
Well, that's the thing. They're very polite.
Yeah.
Which really was kind of cool.
It's overly polite.
It's creepy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you look very pretty today. Thank you. And they're just really, and they're also chugging water.
Yeah.
Which is also, you're like.
Also, it's really great. The amount of water you start to see like increase throughout the entire movie, just like until finally like until it starts raining, literally. Like, yeah, like there's literally a motif of water like overtaking in the school and whatnot as like the
Conveniently.
parasites become more exactly convenient. That's like it's never even acknowledged by any of the students about how much more water there is. It's just there.
One teacher of the faculty does mention when the coach is chugging water.
Oh yeah, no, he's like, man, he's just chugging that water,
Oh,
man.
man, we're gonna have to get more water in here. It's like, little do you know.
Oh right. There's also Jon Stewart makes a little pun like to Selma Hayek. Apparently they it seems like they try to set up like, oh, he like has a thing for her. He's like,
It did.
I called you this weekend. And he's like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? And she's like, I'm sick. And then she just kind of ignores him. He's like, oh, stick a pin in my eye.
Oh my god, that totally went over my head. Oh, that's pretty funny. I'm actually trying to think of another Jon Stewart movie, and I can't think of one.
He's a Big Daddy.
That's it. Yep, that's it. I was just thinking, okay, I can see him in that.
Yeah.
Who is he?
He's the actual father of Sonny.
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
no, Sonny, because Sonny's Adam Sandler.
Come here, puppet boy. Make your daddy talk.
So yeah, I mean, really, like, there's a huge part of this, like, of the movie where it's like, I mean, it's like setting up the students, and then it's like setting up like the relationship with them, like the high school drama. Like Stan wants to quit, and then Delilah is all like, "You're too stupid. Like, what are you gonna do with your life?"
Yeah, which I was just like, whoa, because that was a brutal like knockdown for his self-esteem.
Yeah.
Well, because then Elijah.
Like the inciting action really is Elijah the football field.
Well, I was gonna say because even Elijah has a thing for Delilah. Oh, what's Elijah's name? Character name again?
Casey.
Casey has a thing for Delilah, but kind of in a he knew her as the girl next door type before she got.
He's totally just sexualizing her. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, but it's like he like there's this kind of like thing where he like thinks like he knew her before she was this hot queen bee of the school thing motif. So he's
he even has that line. Is like, you know, you can be cool sometimes when you're not being a bitch.
yeah. They call her a bitch a lot.
Yeah, because she's acting like a bitch. So yeah, no, the inciting action really of the movie where like things really start to kind of pick up is when Elijah Wood finds
A slug.
a weird slug on the football field, and the coach very creepily is like, "What you doing out here, boy?"
Yeah, he's got a very high sexual predator vibe in this movie. He comes off, especially because Elijah Wood's really little in this. He's just going up to this little boy. What you doing out here?
Well,
He doesn't talk like that.
No, he doesn't talk like that at all. But it's that demeanor. It's that like overly polite, but like kind of like overpowering. Mm-hmm. It's like, God, it's unsettling.
Yeah, and it's like weird to hear him talk.
Yeah,
because I really just know him from Terminator.
Oh, really? Yeah. Actually, you know what's funny is like because I grew up watching X-Files, I remember him much, much more as Agent Doggett in the final season of X-Files.
I didn't know he was in X-Files.
When Mulder disappears and goes into hiding.
They kind of use him to replace him?
Yeah. I think he's actually... He's in 2 seasons of X-Files. He's in season 8 and season 9. And he's not really the replacement for Mulder. It's kind of like Mulder, because Mulder disappears and goes into hiding in season 8, and then it's kind of like the roles are reversed. Then Agent Doggett comes in as the closed-minded person, and now Agent Scully is the open-minded person, because she's seen so much with Mulder that she, like, even though she's still a scientist, she knows the truth. She's seen the truth, essentially, and she doesn't trust Doggett. So it's kind of like how Mulder and Scully's relationship was at the beginning of the series is now flipped with Agent Doggett and Scully.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I know that's not anything about the faculty, but
you did.
I had
you dropped some knowledge.
I had to go. I like Robert Patrick.
So he finds this little slug thing. Getting back on track.
Yeah, he finds a slug thing, and he takes it immediately to the science teacher.
Yeah,
it's Jon Stewart, and that's when you really find out. Oh, I guess it's the second time you find out that Zeke is actually really smart.
Because
the first time you find out is with the English teacher.
Yeah, they're talking about. So basically, it's like this aquatic slug creature that they find, and just Zeke is able to pull some knowledge out.
Well, it's like he's like carrying on a conversation with the science teacher, like they're colleagues, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, so
he
like,
even like moves him away from the microscope.
Yeah, no, exactly. He's like, hey, let me take a look at this here. It's like, okay, like they're throwing out scientific terms about like skin and like, you know, like in like things that like aquatic creatures would have and whatnot.
Yeah.
And that's when Jon Stewart takes the initiative to drop it into a giant fish tank that strangely has no fish in it.
Yeah, that was random.
And I was like, all right.
That was weird.
And
it comes back to life.
it resuscitates. Well, no, so they knock water on it because like some people start kind of like
Oh
doing
yeah,
it.
and then that's why he puts it in the water because
Yeah,
then it reacts
they
to the
realize
water.
that it kind of like it got resuscitated a little bit to the water. So like, okay, let's put it into the giant tank. It's like that sounds so smart.
Mhm.
And that and it comes alive and then it replicates itself.
Yeah, but then also it comes out these little red, not little, these long red like tentacles.
Mm-hmm.
And everything about this is I always have a problem with movies like this because of this. I'm like, none of this is good.
Yeah, right.
You're in the middle of nowhere.
You're in the middle of Ohio. Where is there water?
Zeke even brings up.
Yeah.
So it's like, where did this thing come from? It resuscitated with water. Now it has tentacles, and it multiplied like that, like a virus,
A parasite.
And then Duval Stokes puts her hand up against it, the glass, and then the little tentacles start like
mimicking her veins.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, no. You need to call like the government.
No, also like Jon Stewart, he like sticks his hand in there and he's like, I want to give it a feel because like now it's like surface tension has changed.
Yeah.
And one of them bites his fucking finger.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like, oh, this bastard. It's like, no. This is an aggressive aquatic parasitic species. Yeah, I gotta get rid of this thing like now. But
right.
I guess at this point it was too late already.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This wasn't the catalyst that caused the problem.
No. This is like the beginning of the discovery.
Yeah. So yeah, like all that was great. Which also was like, I thought it was kind of weird too. It bit him. Does that imply that these parasites are carnivores?
I wouldn't say that they're carnivorous.
Like, why did it bite him?
It's just defense mechanism, or maybe it like if it bites it, it can like infect
Maybe.
it.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah. Sure.
I wrote not a human being. I don't know what that means, but there's a theme of that throughout the entire movie. So, I thought the special effects at that moment were actually pretty good.
I felt like the special effects to this movie in general were pretty good.
There's a couple of moments where it's meh, but at this point it was really good. Then so we're moving into the teachers are now starting to like try to infect everybody else as well. And so it's like this is where in a regular like horror like slasher film, like people would be dropping like flies, like dying and stuff. Mm-hmm. But instead of like dying, it's just like they're getting infected. So instead of like bodies piling up, it's more people are going to the other side.
Yeah, and like a symptom of this infection is quote unquote you get more normal.
Yeah.
You lose, which is kind of like I feel like a theme with the whole thing. You lose your rebellious streak. You become conformative to the rest of the population.
There's a definite like a feel of like hive mind in it. I don't know if they never really like mention if it like that it is a hive mind. That they all share the similar thought process.
I feel like it kind of is,
but there is like an insinuation of that.
Yeah, it's not like the Borg.
No,
it's not like that deep, but I kind of felt like there is a common synapsis going from one to the other in a sense of like very rudimentary, very low amount of communication. But it's not like one knows and then I think like one would be able to tell if the other one was in trouble or getting hurt. Yeah, that kind of like very, I don't know how to describe that nervous system defense mechanism. Yeah, I don't think it's not. Well, what's her name from the Borg? I can't. What her name was?
Oh, I can't remember as well. But it's not like a kinetic, like a telekinetic.
There you go. It's not telekinetic, but I would say it's almost systematic.
Yeah, or maybe if they're like in the close enough vicinity, it's like very clear. Like
Well, because even the aliens, the people infected aliens, they still communicate with each other verbally. Yes, it's not like they just look at each other and
know exactly. Yeah,
no, they still have to communicate. Well, that was something that kind of cool too that I was thinking about. They're still them.
I think it's just they still have they still have their knowledge. They're just a host.
That's what I was. Is it that, or is it a weird kind of symbiotic where they're still them? They still in a sense have their memories and personality, but now they're just almost like on a constant, almost like on a morphine drip. They don't feel pain. They don't feel anger. They just feel.
I think it's that and. Like just being a host, like everything's been taken over by this alien parasite.
So this alien
and
parasite,
it's even like changed their physiology.
Oh, that's true. And they're stronger. And
Yeah. And it's like, because like when the science teacher's fingers get cut off, it's like tentacles are coming out of its fingers.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's the lightning strike, and you see like with the coach, like his like entire like skeletal structure is like changed and whatnot.
Teeth.
Yeah.
Remember the teeth.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, also the movie starts to get a little into the outlandish sense at some points, but you know, it's like also it's a horror and it's just fun to like follow it. Like
It's pretty,
yeah,
and it's fast paced.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it starts to really devolve on the secret for the parasitic side, because there's the Stan goes to like, he just quits the basketball or the football team, and he goes like take a shower, and the old teacher, like they had tried to infect her.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, and then so she's like, obviously her old body is just like not handling it, but like it's a really creepy scene because at this point in the movie you're still unsure about what is really happening. So you just see this like young guy trying to take in a shower, and then all of a sudden there's an old woman just ripping her clothes off, asking for help, like kind of saying like they're trying to take it over.
Yeah, think of the creepy bath scene from The Shining.
Yeah, no, that was actually I thought exactly that, and I think they probably took a lot of inspiration and homage to that, especially when he puts his hand into her hair and it just comes out, like rips off half of her scalp. Ugh.
Did none of my expressions say I didn't like any of that?
No, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Hair and teeth and fingernails freak me out.
Oh yeah, no, it was gross. It was really, really gross. And then the Mrs. Olsen, the drama teacher, like talking to, because Stan and Casey ran in like it was like for help and whatnot. It's they're just trying to put it off that she's had cancer and it's been hidden from everybody.
Yeah, but then it's like, what kind of fucking cancer?
Well, the student's gonna, in their mind, the kid's gonna believe anything.
Oh no, I know, but I was just
says,
like, even me as a high school student, I'd be like,
what kind of cancer does that?
She looks like she has the plague. Like, what are you fucking talking about?
Yeah, like, do I need to get tested?
Yeah, like she's literally melting.
Yeah. So it's like Casey starts to get a little like curious about what's happening, especially like while that's happening, he can see the coach just standing in the middle of the football field with the sprinklers going, and it's like the coach is staring, watching him,
crossed arm, just looking like 15 yards away. But also with Casey too, part of his inquisitive nature is that he's the local school photographer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he wants to be a journalist. That's why they added that thing to make him. That's why he's curious.
Well, actually, what is it? Because we're moving into this kind of the next scene where him and Delilah are like going to the teacher's lounge, like dig up some like dirt on like what was actually happening, and she flat out calls him the geeky Stephen King kid.
Oh yeah, she does. Huh?
Yeah. But also before that is when Zeke is selling. This is the nod that I want to talk about with Kevin Williamson, because Zeke is selling the sex tapes out of his trunk, and they're like, oh, so like both Nev Campbell and Jennifer Love Hewitt. And he's like, they're like, naked. He's like, full frontal. Hands them some VHS tapes, and it's like, this guy is clearly conning these students.
Yeah,
because none of this stuff exists.
Yeah,
I've checked.
Well, also one of his common customers is what's his butt from that 70s
Danny
show?
Masterson.
Yeah, Danny Masterson. That's another one. I was like, there's a lot of fucking people here. But yes, no, those don't exist. Of course, he's conning them.
Yeah, I know. It kind of makes me wonder, like, how effective. Well, I mean, obviously, we see how effective that drug is in that in the garage scene.
Mm-hmm.
But I was sitting there, I'm like, God, is that drug even like good? Like,
probably not.
Yeah,
probably seriously.
Probably hurts.
Probably hurts, and then kills some brain cells pretty
like,
hard.
I remember one time when I like railed Molly, and that did not feel good at all.
No, it doesn't.
Sorry. Drug use is bad.
Well, that's a big thing in this movie. Is drug use saves the day.
So yeah, he's him and Delilah are in the faculty's lounge, and this is when you really start to see the horror of the film is really starting to increase. Like the tension, what's the word? I don't like the parasite, the infection, the takeover. I don't want to say infection though, or it's not a plague. It's a pestilence almost. Not pestilence, but
You keep saying words and following with, no, not like that though.
because there's a specific word I'm looking for. But anyway,
Just go with infection. That's fine. I think that'll be good.
and so yeah, Casey and Delilah are in the faculty lounge trying to find stuff, and that's when the coach and Mrs. Olsen come in, and they're like discussing like how many teachers have they taken over and stuff and like that. And they're like almost everyone, and Casey, and then the nurse comes in and it just immediately gets like really weird, and the coach is just like looks over at the door, and Mrs. Olsen walks and closes the door and just stands by the door, and the coach is like creeping up on Selma Hayek, nurse.
Now that we're talking about it, there's a very predator vibe to this.
Yeah.
I guess that's because that's what they are.
Oh yeah, they're 100% predators.
Yeah.
And then you get like a really graphic scene, really, of him. Like, it's really cool. Like, special effects was really awesome. He like pins her down, turns her head to the side, and his eyes roll up into his head.
Yeah, those go white.
I thought did they just go white? I thought they rolled up.
I think it's open to. I think it's open to interpretation.
Yeah, and then like it's like his entire like his face gets all like veins that don't exist in the human body start to like pulsate out of his face, and he opens his mouth and it shoots a slug out of it into her ear, and it just like busts her ear, like side of her head open, it looks like.
Ugh.
And
I have to say the makeup with them and like kind of showing that they're infected was really cool.
yeah, and it's like perfect like storm of a situation, because Casey and Delilah hiding in the closet that has like little like blinds on it so they can see what's happening. Then the old teacher that had died in the shower falls on them, and they're hiding her in the fucking faculty lounge closet.
Which I thought was weird.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and they run out, and they to go run for help, and that's when you find out that the principal is still alive. They got stabbed at the beginning of the movie.
They must have turned her right after that.
Yeah, they had to have, because like there's also there was a little talk that she like wasn't at school that day, or like she's been like gone, and she's back and acting kind of strange as well. And then the history teacher shows up, and he's like, "Oh, what seems to be the problem?" It's like the faculty is getting taken over. The faculty. And Casey and Delilah run away, and Delilah takes off before him and like leaves him behind, like the bitch she is.
There's that word again.
They're using it. I'm gonna use it. Okay.
Okay.
Don't follow my lead, please. And then Casey he runs home to his parents. He calls the cops. And his parents don't believe him, because he's like, no, the aliens are taking over the school.
Classically. Like,
he's the classic Stephen King nerdy kid.
Yeah.
You know? It's not really, he doesn't believe. And then like the cops come, and the faculty had set up like, so it doesn't even look like there was a dead body in there. And that's when the principal takes one of the cops into her office and infects that dude. We're reaching the end of like what I would call end of Act 1.
yeah.
Because it's very clearly goes into like and the next day begins thing, which I actually appreciate. It's like very clear, cut and dry. It's like this shit's about to get real here,
And I like that it was also very fast. That we're talking 2 days.
Yeah, this is all like happened within
2 days. Yeah,
2.5 days, because I think because the coach gets infected after football practice, so it's after school, and then so you have half a day and then an entire school day. And then the entire school day
going to the night,
going into the football game.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. All right. 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, she got real.
Well, no. I mean, even bringing that up is like, think about how fast this school has gotten infected. Like, how fast is that going to spread through the state to the nation? Like,
well, yeah. I mean,
where are we going to hide at that point?
Yeah.
So his parents are freaking out. I just want to point out that a really funny moment as his dad's like ripping apart his bedroom and whatnot. That his mom is just like, oh yeah, because he's like, no phone, no music, no internet. Mom's like, his porno.
He grabs
and lifts up the mattress, and there's a porno magazine out there. I'm like, Jesus Christ. The mom is just like, nah.
I just thought that scene was fucked up. The dad's just ripping apart his room.
Oh yeah,
his whole dick. I was like, oh dude, calm down.
And then when he like jumps out the window, and that's when he thinks he sees the teachers out there like coming after him. I don't know. That scene's kind of like it doesn't like, I don't know if he is imagining that or if they are there, because then his dad, when he comes out to like get Casey back in, funnily enough, still holding the porno magazine. What were you doing, sir? He like kind of looks through the street like he saw something too, you know, but then like he didn't see anything. It's a very I don't know, it's not one of the best scenes really, but
I mean, it could have also been some kind of editing that they did. Maybe there was more to it,
possibly. I don't know.
And then they decided to keep that part in. I don't know. I thought it was kind of out of place and kind of weird. But
I mean, they're trying to like put set up that Casey is what Casey is experiencing is real, is a type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then they kind of like go into like, well, is he hallucinating something? Yeah, no. It kind of like it takes away through some of his legitimacy almost if they're not actually there, and by not actually solidifying if they're there. Meh. So, but it does like does a nice soft blackout and leads into the next day. So like it does like it's like an end of chapter, beginning new chapter type thing.
Actually, this would be a cool TV show.
I would not want to see this as a TV show. Could you imagine how many seasons this would run for, just dragging it out?
I'd say 1 or 2 seasons.
I mean, I do actually. One thing I always kind of like likened it to. I don't know if you ever read the Animorph series when you were a kid.
Is that the one where the badger turns into a boy or vice versa, right?
But the kids get special abilities to morph into animals.
Yeah, on the cover it'll be like a badger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it'll be like a. Yeah.
Did you ever read those?
Maybe.
I was really into it when I was a kid, and one of the the main bad guys in it were called Yeerks, and they were space alien slugs that would crawl into your ear and take over your mind as a host. Literally, pretty much the Faculty, only they didn't like have like weird tentacles coming out. It was like just like a slug that would like go into your brain, take you over, and they were also a hive mind.
Hive mind.
Yeah.
Also, when you were watching this and doing notes and stuff, did you also think of Slither?
No, I didn't think of Slither there at all.
No. Oh, I was like,
yeah,
because this was surprisingly violent. That I remember, because maybe when I first saw it was on cable, so maybe a lot of stuff was cut out. But it's like Slither's like this, but on steroids and PCP.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because if you look at it, it's like
and yeah, Slither. It's got that Invasion of the Body Snatchers
and the
feel.
slug and I was just like, oh wow, maybe. But anyway, I only bring that up to listeners because one of our very first practice episodes was Slither. Yeah, that's what kind of we started this podcast with, so it's just kind of fun.
Yeah. Kind of for a premiere for this to be.
I just thought that was kind of a funny cool little.
One of the things that I wanted to bring up also, like when way back at the beginning when they were like introducing all of the characters, it's also like setting up like the world of this high school is in kind of chaos. Like there's bullies picking on kids. Like Casey's like first thing that happens is Casey gets punched in the face for no reason, pretty much,
and then he gets his balls rammed into to a flagpole.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I was like, that could cause some serious damage. Actually,
yeah, it could. And like, you know, there's people fighting in the street and whatnot. So like there's like chaos going on at this school, and it's weird because as more people like get infected, and everyone starts calming down, it's like you start to see like the chaos is becoming, it's feeling not right at this school, and everyone's like the main cast of kids are starting to recognize it. And they're like, something strange is going on and I can't figure it out.
Well, and they did a cool job with that too when they're walking, well, because at this point now in the plot we get back to Jon Stewart, right?
That's when they all get back together, but there's some stuff that happens before that.
Okay. Well, I was just gonna say when the kids start to realize kind of what's going on, they're walking through the hallway. They did a really cool parallel, like they show the couple hand in hand were fighting earlier the previous day. Yeah. So they did a really cool like showing.
There's a build.
Yeah, they're showing moments of chaos that happened just the day before is now completely tranquil, and it was just kind of a cool parallel between the two. And all the kids are lined up at the water fountain because these things need a lot of water. I just thought that was a really cool scene to build up to the fuck kind of moment. Yes.
That
was cool.
Because like, and also that point, one of the first things that you get when Casey's walking into the school and he looks back at his dad, like that's now talking to the coach, you see a truck filled with water jugs drive by, and it's like, there's more water. Yeah. More water's coming, you know? So yeah, I mean, yeah, let's get into like how the gang gets together.
Do you think that the dad got infected?
Yeah.
Do you think that maybe they wanted to do a scene with that and then they took it out?
Maybe, I don't
Or
know.
maybe it was just kind of just like
You know what'd be
ooh.
interesting to get is like the DVDs of these, like the original DVDs, instead of like renting it on Prime and whatnot.
And then seeing like
I guess we
deleted
could
scenes.
look up on YouTube, like, oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. We could probably look up online like
Deleted scenes.
deleted scenes and bonus features and whatnot. Let's keep that in mind for the future, because
I'll
like
make a note of that.
because like Jumanji, that's how I found the making of stuff. Because
yeah.
I remember having that. Yeah, cool. So yeah, first like Casey's going around and like Delilah's talking to him, and Delilah's now all of a sudden wearing glasses. Miss has to look perfect all the time. People are very constantly pointing out that she's wearing glasses.
Yeah.
I just want to point that out right now, and I'll lean because you know why later, and I don't know why I want, because if you haven't seen it, I don't know. So Casey's going around trying to like get people to like believe him, and he like Delilah who saw the shit, like she's I don't know, she's almost like trying to like get Casey to not worry about it or like just run away or something. She's like trying to isolate him.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Stokes and reveals to Stokely. We didn't even like bring up any of like Stokely and Mary Beth's like relationship that's happened before this, you know, how like Mary Beth is like trying to like become friends with Stokely.
Yeah, because Mary Beth is the cute girl next door, friendly neighborhood
she's the
type.
new girl, you know.
Yeah.
She's out of place from everyone.
And Stokely, quote unquote, has no friends and likes it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywho, so Casey, there's apparently like Casey and Stokely know each other. I mean, I don't know, they're high school kids.
Yeah.
And she's bringing up Invasion of the Body Snatchers and what that was originally based off of.
Well, yeah, because Casey brings it up to her, and she's pretty like gung ho from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
She's not really questioning. She's like, okay, yeah, that makes, from her experiences, that makes sense.
Kind of. I mean, she also like says, like, "Do you know how crazy you sound right now?"
Yeah.
And then he's like, "But what about the thing that we saw in science class? Like maybe that, like, let's go talk to the science teacher and figure that out." Delilah goes to find Stan and like brings Stan, like is trying to tell him what's happening. That's how we get Delilah, Stan, Stokely, and Casey into the science room together, because they're going to go look at the little fish thing, the alien, obviously, the slug.
The slug thing.
And when they get in there, it's clearly gone. So like obviously they're like hiding something, you know, even though that the science teacher said he was going to take it to the university. And then you have Mary Beth, who's now hanging out with Zeke because Zeke's, you know, cool bad boy.
Mm-hmm.
He's like,
It's Josh Hartnett. He's hot.
yeah, you know.
He's got that brooding.
I mean, there's kind of a reason why I took that look up when I was in high school.
I feel like you did that a lot.
I wouldn't, maybe not that. It was more of a just no sound, just like the eye up, just
Like no expression, and then like a little smile.
a little smirk.
Yeah.
Just, you know, a little smolder.
I really love Josh Hartnett.
He's a great actor, actually.
Hartnett.
Hartnett.
I would say Harnett, not Hartnett.
He's going to steal from the science lab and whatnot, and she's with him, and they make out a little bit in the room with all the supplies.
Oh yeah, what is his shopping? His grocery shopping.
He's like, I got a pretty big grocery list, and she's like, so you're just borrowing everything from me here? And he's like, I like to call it stealing.
Yeah, that's how he makes his drugs.
He's such a bad boy.
He's always the same fucking dude a lot of the times.
Boom. He hears them through the vents and whatnot, and I think he hears them talking about like their alien invasion. And he's like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes into kind of like make fun of them, and even like he calls out Casey. He's like, Casey, if there is any kind of alien in this school, it's you. It's like, dude, why is everybody bullying this kid?
Because he's small.
I was that kid too. I wanted to be Josh Hartnett, but I was Casey. And that's when Jon Stewart comes in, and that's when like the threat becomes a reality to everyone.
Because that's a scene that escalates really quickly. Because also, what I like, my favorite thing about Zeke is that he really didn't fuck around.
Oh no,
with any of these conflicts. He was just like, I'm gonna fucking murder you.
Yeah, no, he's like, there's a problem. I'm gonna salute it.
gonna salute it.
That was a solution and solve it mixed together. Yeah. You see, that's why I was Casey.
So Jon Stewart comes in, and they always, for some reason, I feel like it's kind of funny because these aliens try to act like kind of normal for a minute, but then also like, can we just, what, I don't know, because he walks in and he starts talking to them as if he is still his human normal self.
Kind of. I mean, he's a little off, I would say. It's like, hey, what are you kids doing in here? And then they're like, what?
Well, because they see the aquarium is empty.
Yeah. and he's
So they're like, oh, the professor or Mr. whatever must have already sent it off to the university for study.
yeah. No, it's even like the way that he responds to like, I sent it to the university. It's like it's very like direct and monotone. He's because like if you see like the character he was at the beginning of the film,
He was goofy.
yeah, he's like, hey, I'm the likable teacher. I don't know why he has to do that.
But yeah, then they all get monotone and kind of just a little more, they get more hostile, more aggressive.
Yeah. No, especially both they're like if they feel threatened 100% because that's when like it's clear that he's like every student sit down, this will only take a minute, like he's gonna infect them.
Yeah.
And then Elijah Wood, Casey's like, I'm out of here, and he grabs him by the neck and like lifts him up.
Yeah, which is talking about how it changes some of their physiology because now
Yeah.
he's that strong where you can pick this kid up and just pin him against the wall.
Yeah. And you know, like you were saying, like, and Zeke is just like, nope.
Well, because Zeke goes to help Elijah Wood, and then one-handed, the teacher throws him to the side.
Yeah.
And then Zeke goes, fuck this, and then breaks off, what are they called? Shit, what are they called?
Paper cutters?
Yeah, breaks off the blade of a paper cutter, which is not easy to do.
No. Like,
Just for the record.
he rips that thing off like a lot fucking hero,
I know a
dude.
lot of movies make it seem like you can just pop that thing off. Usually you can't.
Yeah.
You gotta kind of try. But then he pops this thing off and then just chops off his arm. I was like,
He chops off his fingers.
Oh, he chops off his fingers, yeah,
Yeah.
excuse me. And
Which
then they become all...
Also, it was kind of like that was like a weirdly coordinated scene for the kids because like Zeke gets thrown to the side. He immediately goes, Stan, help, do something, and Stan runs up and catches Casey as the teacher throws him perfectly, so Casey doesn't like fly through the window or something.
Yeah.
Then Zeke rips off the fucking thing, chops the fingers off. This is like this is Deus Ex Machina.
Oh, okay. So this is a perfect example of
The
that.
pen. But then it's a Deus Ex Machina that's then revealed to become for the weapon later on.
Yeah, why do they jump to stabbing him in the eye again?
I think it was just a defense mechanism for Zeke. It's like, I got this pen, stab him in the eye.
Yeah.
And because he's not thinking it's going to do anything, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, I think what he's thinking is like, I'll stab this into your brain and like, it'll fuck you up. And like,
Yeah.
you won't, like, he's trying to subdue him more than anything.
Or
you
just
know?
kill, like anything.
Yeah.
Just kill it. Like,
So, and that's when you find out that since it's like speed or whatever, it dehydrates them. You know, it's a diuretic, so like it melts his brain essentially.
yeah.
And so then,
Oh, fun note too. Because I always thought this was cocaine when I was really scared about it growing up as a kid.
you were scared of cocaine?
No, I always thought if the aliens ever did take over, not always, but when I was making my plan to protect myself, I was totally into the idea of getting a super soaker and filling it with Coke because I didn't get it entirely.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Fun little
That is so funny.
side note. But yeah, so these aliens are allergic to laxatives.
This is when they like, all right, so the kids now are banded together.
And now they're all very aware and convinced that there is an alien presence.
They best be convinced, Jesus.
And this is when they start walking through the hallways and start seeing the conformity that these aliens are impressing upon their hosts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And let's see.
we're actually almost like the end of the movie.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, we still got the garage scene and then like the entire like final bit. So yeah, they start walking through like the courtyard and whatnot. Does the English teacher confront Zeke at this time as well? Is this when that happens?
Yeah, because don't his two customers, his regular customers, come up asking for gack?
Yeah, but didn't that happen before he went shopping? Yeah, that happened before he went shopping.
Are you sure? I thought that then he told him, no, I'm all out, and then she walked up because it happened in the courtyard.
Yeah, but he wouldn't be selling it.
He did though.
No, he wouldn't be selling it after he like stabbed the teacher with it. You know?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah. So I'm blending the two.
Yeah. So do they just get into his car? I feel like we're missing a transitional scene here.
Well, like, wait, give it a second. Well, because also, why would, until the aliens knew he had that, why would they be asking for it? Unless they also knew that it was detrimental to them.
Oh, because they probably had it, like, because they had it in... It's a good question. Well, I mean, okay, let's
Well, because let's talk about the teacher though. I liked her.
Oh, how she like calls him out.
Her metamorphosis.
Yeah, how she becomes all like, like no nonsense anymore.
Well, yeah, it kind of ties into that kind of like weird aggression thing I was talking about.
Oh yeah.
She goes from this timid kind of quiet librarian with the glasses to this like sexy, don't grabbing him by the face, dominatrix, don't fuck with me kind of mentality. And I just like, she does that really
great.
It
could be a thing that just kind of like accents the part of your personality that you want to be more, Well,
and also because these aliens, they eliminate fear and shyness. And so now you're just, in a sense, you're just a more confident version of yourself, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So that's what she would be without this kind of timid, quiet aspect of it. And I just love her.
Oh, Famke Janssen. Yeah,
I love her.
I mean, she's really only known for like Jean Grey, and I know she's in Goldeneye. She's one of the Bond girls.
She's in The Good Wife, and she is in Hemlock Grove.
Oh, that's right. I never watched Hemlock Grove.
She's good in Hemlock Grove.
So yeah, they're trying to figure out what's going on. Oh, Casey ends up getting one of the slugs that because the teacher, or Jonathan Stewart, the science teacher, he starts to he spits one out on top of Zeke's chest, trying to infect Zeke. And so they capture one, so they take it back to the garage so they can
experiment on
it, and then you find out, you see his meth lab in his garage,
his like legit setup that he has for his drug making.
Yeah. And this is when they do all the experiment, and they kind of figure out, like, he pours his caffeine mixture on the slug, and you see it melt and whatnot, and they're like, okay, so this is how we can fight it. And then that's when they start turning on each other, which is a classic horror trope.
Yeah.
It's you're
infected. No, you're infected.
You're infected. You're a drone. You're a drone. We're all drones. So then everyone's got to get high.
Yeah, and it makes them all giggly.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's what I'm wondering what the fuck, because he says it's mainly caffeine.
Yeah,
and then other stuff.
Some household.
What's the giggly part,
dude? Right? It's like, because meth doesn't make you giggly like that. Coke doesn't. Coke just makes you like,
makes you zany.
Makes you feel like a superhero.
King of the fucking world. And then you have a heart attack. But yeah, so then it becomes this pass around game of whoever's an alien obviously will have a negative reaction to this, and so they go through person to person to person,
and like Casey's the first one to do it.
Then Stan starts getting that super paranoid, pull out the gun kind of.
Yeah, that's right. Also, I like that little like setup with the gun when it's just sitting on the desk, and Casey like sees it, and he's like, and then Zeke's like, it's called a gun.
I really liked Josh Hartnett's character in this a lot. I don't know what it is about him. I just liked.
You like the bad boy.
Yeah, but I liked that he didn't he wasn't just a bad boy in persona.
Yeah,
he threw the fuck down.
Yeah, yeah. They all start taking. So it goes Casey. And then Stan pulls out the gun and like on Zeke, and Zeke's like, dude, what the fuck you doing? And then so Stan, and because he's freaking out because like Casey's all giggling, he's like, what's happening to him, man? He's like, he's just tweaking, let the man tweak.
Yeah, he's tweaking, let the man tweak.
And then Stan finally takes it, and then he's like turns it over to Zeke, and Zeke's like, I don't do my own stash, man, or whatever he says. And it's like, I like how reluctant everyone's like I'm not taking that. It's like, can we just, we've like, there's an alien like invasion happening, and you're like, this is like, we're proving who is like, if you're not an alien, just take a fucking sniff, dude.
Do you also think that might be a cultural and generational thing? Because if we were in that situation, I'd be like, fine, fuck it. I don't care. Like,
no, I don't know. Because I feel like our generation had more of like that, like, drugs are bad thing put onto us more than their generation.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Because, dude, stories from my brother. Because, like, yeah, these are, like, people that are the teenagers in the late 90s, like 97, 98. Like, there's weird drugs going around. I mean, this is the heroin craze is going on around now, you know? I think that's just more of like a, maybe just written in. So it's like, yeah, kids, don't do drugs. You should say no to drugs.
The drugs save the world.
I do like that it's revealed that Delilah was infected.
Yeah, which, I mean, if you watch it, you kind of know.
Honestly, I mean, when you're first watching it, you don't, because you're not really piecing it together. But, like, that's why I was talking about she comes with her glasses on. She's now wearing glasses. Everyone's pointing out that she's wearing glasses. She's, like, tried to look like the most perfect pretty girl her entire life. And I don't know why glasses are associated with not prettiness, but it's the 90s and, beauty standards were fucked then.
Just like they are now.
Oh, yeah. Well, but there's more of an awakening of it now. But it's like Delilah and Mary Beth are, like, doing it at the same exact time. And Delilah has the reaction, and she destroys the meth lab, like, knocks everything down, destroys most of his stash, and then runs through a fucking wall.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I was like, damn. It's like this girl weighs maybe like 110 pounds.
Yeah.
And she busts through this, like, garage door wall, like, just like it's like she's the Terminator. It's like, all right. Okay.
So yeah, now we have drug wise as a defense is what he has in his pocket, which is not much.
Yeah. So now it's like, okay, so they start talking. They kind of like they discuss. I think this is what they were talking about this before they all did the drugs. It's like, okay, so if it's like an alien parasite, if it's like a host type situation, then there'd be a queen. Ideally through all these, they're using science fiction like logic from like what they've read on like what they could use, which I mean that's a very common horror trope in general. It's like, okay, what do we learn from our lore in the real world? So it's like if they can get the queen, then they can like save everybody, they hope.
And I did kind of like that in a way, mainly because it's like you really don't have any reference point other than media being movies and books. So I feel like in a very real way, teenagers would be like, well, they did this on Walking Dead, so
right,
give that a try,
Exactly. So like, it's like, okay, and they also keep like bringing up that there's the big football game tonight, which they've set up through that this school is a big football school. Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot of little like caveats in the writing that's like that builds this world and like foreshadows a lot to like what's going to happen later on, like the football game is going to be the biggest thing for the city, for the town, where all of these aliens can just infect an entire town like that, and then that town can just spread it like.
And we're at the football scene now.
We're going into okay. So we're going to the football game, where the ridiculousness of the fireworks and pyrotechnics during this high school football game.
It's real though for football town,
dude. Fireworks going off after every like touchdown, every tackle.
I 100% believe it,
dude. No, it's a little over the top.
I believe that there are towns like, if you live in one of these towns, let us know, because I think that is not that out of blue. But also that football game in general was brutally awesome. I loved that entire scene.
It's also like so unrealistic of a football game, like just like when like the coach is like, take his fucking head off.
I know, that's what was great.
It's like, and it's like Usher clotheslines that like that football player. Also, what does Usher even play? Is he the quarterback? Is he a defensive lineman? Why is he clotheslining a guy? Like, what is this? What is happening in this game?
See, this is what kind of, I got to jump back to what I said, that this is why I'm like, their personalities still have to kind of be there, because the coach is clapping and like high-fiving the other players. Like, he's getting enjoyment out of it. If they were all just kind of like hive-mindy, no emotion, they'd just be standing there, right?
Not necessarily, because like if they're all hive-mindy, it's like they all have the same goal, and it's like, okay, do this thing. It's like, well, this is how humans play football. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of things where, that's why I said like not a real human, is because the coach is like, isn't this how humans act? A human would like want the best for the person. Why would I stand in your? It's just like he's not being the coach that would yell at him when Stan's quitting. So that's
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like there's definitely still like that whole like, I am acting how a human should act.
Well, because also at this point, the kids are putting it together that the principal must be the queen.
Mm-hmm.
So Stan and Stokes go to the game.
Mm-hmm. To like lure.
Yeah, and then
Which they, I don't even. They just like they see her and she just follows them essentially.
who are the other three?
They're all in the gymnasium.
Okay, so they all go back to the gymnasium.
Yeah, and like so Stan has the gun. He's holding the gun. Like they get the principal essentially comes in. They like wrap her up in a
Net.
in a tennis net or a
Yeah.
volleyball net.
Yeah.
And like she's like, what are you doing? Oh my god, Casey, are you on drugs?
Yeah, that was a funny line. Like, okay.
No, and like Stan's like, you're gonna take this drug, or I'm gonna shoot you. And Casey like tries to like force it on her, and like she's not taking it. Stan's not gonna shoot her. Zeke just comes in, grabs the gun, poof,
Yeah.
right in the head. Just like,
Yeah.
whoa.
You're like,
And you're like, oh yeah, no,
okay.
Zeke's getting shit done.
Yeah.
And that's when you find out that because they have that question. Oh, maybe we made a mistake because she looks like she's just dead.
Yeah, there's a huge pool of blood behind
Yeah,
her
there's
head.
a bullet hole in her head.
Yeah.
And then she stands up and is like, and then did tentacles start coming out of her or something? I can't remember exactly.
She started getting that thing you were talking about, the
yeah,
veins that
the
aren't there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's when Mary Beth comes and like
Dumps
the entire thing on her, the entire drug, and then you get this kind of a split up point, which is actually kind of interesting. It's so late in the film. Like for a classic horror film, like the split up stuff happens a lot more like throughout the movie and whatnot. You know?
Yeah, this is like they split up like with the last half an hour left of the movie.
And like again, like going back to like there's generally like a pile of dead bodies building up, and like there's really no. It's more of like they are now just like like alone and whatnot.
Well, because actually, if you think about it too, the piles of dead bodies are aliens.
Yeah.
Basically, because there's the older woman, Jon Stewart, you don't see again after this.
Yeah.
And then her, because they put so much of the drug on her, she literally melts into goop.
Yeah, exactly.
So the only ones that are actually bodies at this point are infected hosts.
And then, so since there's all out, Zeke is like, well, I got more in my trunk. Is this already after? No, they have two more. That's right. And then like Stan goes to try to like, because they think maybe it's the coach
because he's the first one they interacted with that was acting weird.
I felt like through the entire film that they were setting up that the coach is like the queen.
Yeah.
You know, like I think just like him and like the drama teacher, Mrs. Olsen, they're the first ones you see infected. But since he's the first one to show the aggression, and he's like the most aggressive one almost. It's like I remember when I was first watching it, it's like he's got to be. He's
Yeah. Well, and then so Zeke goes to his car to find more of this drug, which is one of my favorite scenes.
Actually, this is a fun little split scene because like so Stan tries to go get the coach, but then the coach like Stan then gets infected and is part of the football team again. A weird scene where like as he goes out to try to get the coach, Stokely kisses him.
Yeah, it was awkward.
Well, I mean, they set up that she's had a crush on him for a long time, you know, and then like she kisses him, and he's like, "What?" And she's like, "I just wanted to do that before I, couldn't." And it's like, "Oh, okay." Also, I like that like cut like with Casey and Josh Hartnett, and Casey and Zeke, just kind of like
giggling to themselves,
they're
just
like giggling.
like, "Okay, Romeo."
She's like, "Shut up."
But then Zeke goes to his car and is confronted by Miss. I got it. Burke. Miss Burke, the now very confident English teacher. Sorry.
Well, first Elijah Wood he's the bait. Because remember, like it's Zeke and Casey that run out to get to Zeke's car to get more of the pens, and then Casey's like, I don't know why both of us had to come, and he's like, well, one of us has to be a bait, and then kicks. Like pretty much like throws Casey out from the bus to like distract and get the football team away from him.
Yeah.
And then you got the football team chasing him. Then Delilah gets onto the bus that he's hiding in, and Casey's like, he's able to get out.
He's
out
very
of the situation.
nimble.
Yeah.
He's a quick little guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they mentioned that the coach is like, hey, you're a pretty quick guy. Maybe you should try to join the sports team.
And, he's actually a little nimble, little Frodo can get him moving.
So yeah, really, really cool scene with Zeke and Miss Burke.
Yeah, I loved that scene.
It's very sexual.
Yeah, I'm looking for something more cherry flavored. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, because that's the cherry flavored Magnum condoms that he like makes fun of her with.
Yeah. And then he jumps in his car. I did like this too. Like the aliens I just liked when they like stopped pretending to be human anymore.
Yeah.
He jumps in his car, tries to start it, and she just jumps through the window.
Yeah.
Within a split second.
Another Terminator.
Yeah, another Terminator moment. And long story short, they're driving through the parking lot, and it's like a fight scene in the car.
Yeah.
And then Zeke just plows.
He buckles his seatbelt.
Yeah.
Like, well, he gets her like she's like she's like metamorphosed, like her mouth is opening up and it's like becoming like the weird alien parasite trying to infect him.
Yeah.
Through all of it, and he's like, he's running his car into his nice car. What kind of car was that?
A Pontiac.
Okay.
1970 Pontiac, I think.
Like into the buses and whatnot. And he finally gets her in there, and he buckles his seatbelt and just runs his car into a school bus, and then unnecessary explosion because
that wouldn't.
a car wouldn't. This is also like, all right, this is Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, like,
it's like
this is one of the more tame.
It's like we've been talking a lot about how cool Kevin Williams' writing for this has been. This is when Robert Rodriguez, and also for the fireworks. This is also like over the top fireworks for the football game.
Yeah,
this is very Robert Rodriguez style.
Yeah, but also this is the more tame Robert Rodriguez movie.
Yeah,
than most of his other.
It's
stuff.
It's like at some point he was like, when can I make a ridiculous explosion, guys?
When can I blow some shit up? We told you at the end of the movie, Robert. Oh, man. Oh, damn.
Oh, yeah. So this is also like, so the football team was outside. There was that also when the rain was coming down. That's when I was talking about, it's like there was more and more water until finally their world was just being covered in water.
Yeah.
But
then the car crashes. She goes flying out. And this is my
oh, that's right, yeah.
She gets decapitated. And then so Zeke gets out, and he's obviously all messed up. He's bleeding, but he's fine. He gets out, and he just sees Miss Burke's head crawling around on tentacles.
It's a total thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the Thing.
Yeah, and like so her head is like crawling around, and her body's getting up looking for her head.
Yeah.
And I remember watching that out loud. If he doesn't say something about this right now, I'm going to be very disappointed. And he just goes, he's got the gun in his hand, and he just goes, "Fuck that, I'm out of here." Yeah. And I was like, yes, he did it. I was like, that's a perfect reaction. Fuck that. Like, nope.
Like, what the? Like, what? No.
No, I'm done. Like, I'm done, man.
Oh, man. So, and this is the big reveal.
Dun, dun, dun. So spoiler alert.
Yep. We got Stokes and Mary Beth are sitting behind as the boys are doing all the hard work. And Mary Beth is talking to Stokes about, like, why, it's like, wouldn't it be better to fit in with everybody? And starting to get kind of like weird. Like Stokes is like, it's like as they're filming her, it's really good, like subtle acting from her. Just like, okay, this doesn't feel right. Until finally she turns around and Mary Beth slaps her with her tentacle. And it's, boom, revealed the queen's been with them the entire time.
Which I also thought was kind of interesting because the aliens were so polite and Mary Beth was so polite. I was wondering if that was on purpose.
Oh, and also let's think about Mary Beth. She's the out-of-towner. Like, she is literally in this town, the one that doesn't fit in.
Yeah.
Even like if you look at like her, like, very bright blonde hair, very like bright dress. She's like the epitome of like the perfect little, like,
she's a Southern Belle.
Southern Belle, yeah. And so it's like very fitting that the reveal for her to be the queen. Okay, I mean some people might feel it's a cop out of like for the actual thing, because like why didn't she just infect them through the entire thing?
I kind of felt that way too,
but I think it was also like her playing the games like we'll get it when we get it, but like. Also, she's trying to find the stash,
Yeah, and it also kind of felt like she never really thought of humans as that much of a threat, really.
No, not at all.
Until this drug was introduced.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it's just like the whole like figuring out who has this drug that's killing her kind.
Yeah.
Then it like that's when she can finally take it. That's why she finally infects Stokely, and. Oh, that's well. There's the whole pool scene. Also, like, what did you feel about the transformation into the giant queen, parasitic alien queen? Like, how did you feel like special effects and like
I said, the special
animatronics on it?
I thought the special effects were fine. I thought they were like didn't really take me out of it too much.
You could there was like a couple of moments where, especially I guess this is going back with when the teacher's fingers get cut off, the fingers come alive, and those looked very fake. Those look like the monkeys in Jumanji.
Mm-hmm.
This is also very post Jumanji too.
Yeah.
So special effects were more like like Jumanji were very much available for movies like
yeah,
this.
but it also just depends on your team. The team you get.
Oh
for
yeah,
it.
totally.
The one thing I didn't really, I got it, but I didn't. It kind of took me out. Was her size changing?
Oh, is she metamorphosed? Yeah.
Yeah, like, and then she got bigger, and then she was able to squeeze back into her little human naked body running around.
Yeah.
Then I also thought it was weird that she went into chlorine water without any kind of effect.
I was thinking that too as well.
Because I'm like, you're allergic to caffeine.
Yeah.
I don't think chlorine.
Wouldn't this chlorine water be burning you?
Wouldn't she not be super great?
I mean, that's getting really nitpicky.
Yeah,
but,
that's why I kind of had to pull myself back. I was like,
Yeah.
that's kind of unrealistic. I did like her little monologue.
Oh, and she's walking around with naked, and then like the shadow is her.
Yeah, like I liked that.
I mean, I thought it was ominous. It's a cool pic. It's a cool like.
It didn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It was cool looking.
It's cool
though.
looking. Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool looking. Yeah, I mean, what did you think? I mean, I thought the monster's design was okay. It was cool, I guess.
It was very clear that they had like a giant animatronic that they had to do specific close-ups with, and I don't know. Yeah, it was hit and miss. I mean, at that point, it's like you're at the climax of the film. If it's not taking you out, then it's going fine. If it's taking you out, like, 'cause I think some people might have a little bit more of a different opinion. It's not the best. I'll say that.
I'll put it this way: I really enjoyed the movie pretty much up until the end.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't care for the end.
The end, or like the climax of like killing the alien, like through all of Mary Beth.
Kind of through all the Mary Beth thing.
Okay.
I feel like it could have been way creepier.
Okay.
Because even then, like,
because it starts to turn into more of an action film at this point.
Yeah, because even then, I would have. What I was kind of thinking when I was watching it, because they go through the pool, Stokes gets knocked over, pulled into the water, and then then Casey gets her out, and they run into the locker room, and it shows, which that was also a cool shot too. Shows the Queen getting smaller and smaller, turning back into the human form, and getting out of the pool, following them to the locker.
Yeah,
I was like, there's some cool visuals in there, but I kind of wish that they had done something with the locker scene, kind of reminiscent of the Velociraptors in the kitchen.
I mean, they kind of do.
Kind of. I don't know. I wish the tension, like that scene, and to this day, that scene of the Velociraptors in kitchen is phenomenal. The tension rising in that is really good. And since you had these small, narrow little spaces.
Well, what helps with that is that there's no monologue happening with the Velociraptors.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, it's like the silence is
and
like
this the clicking of their nails and them hitting things.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like it's very clear, you know, where she's at. She's giving her villain speech.
Yeah.
And revealing all of the plans and the history of her planet that died. And then Casey.
How does she get off? That was my other thing. How does she get off her planet?
I don't know.
I hate that. There's so many space things like that.
Yeah, I know.
It's like they're this, in a sense, very at least non-technologically advanced seeming species, but then somehow they get off their planet.
Yep.
I'm like, they just hurtle each other, real far.
So yeah, I mean, it kind of Zeke gets kind of incapacitated.
He gets the hell kicked out of him.
Yeah, he gets the hell kicked out of him. And then it's up, and Stokes gets infected, so it's up to Casey.
That was kind of cool.
What, Stokes got infected?
Well, when they're messing with Zeke.
Oh yeah,
the back and forth where they're trying to convince that the other one's infected, but in fact they're both infected. You know, that was kind of cool. But then there's that really weird moment where she's like, "Do you like my naked body, Zeke?"
Oh yeah, he's like, "Why are you naked?"
Yeah, why are you? It's like in The Babysitter. Why is your shirt off? I did like he pointed that out because he almost is like, "Why are you even trying to convince me? There's no reason you'd be naked other than you're alien or something." Yeah. Like, nah, I'm good, man.
Again, like the motif of Casey's fast keeps coming up because he's running from the football team. He's nimble, blah blah. Smart. I really liked this when I was a kid. Was like his knowledge of the rafters in the gymnasium. That he knows that if he hits it, it's gonna collapse in a specific way.
Yeah.
I remember when I went to high school, I would help set up for the assemblies and whatnot. So like I was aware that I knew how those rafters worked.
Mhm.
Like that was actually kind of how they worked. But for our school, you had to like actually hold it down. You couldn't just like hit it and then it would go.
Yeah.
But, you know, traps the alien in inside of the rafters as he's running through it. It's like closing on the alien and whatnot. And then what?
No, I'm thinking about the scene.
Oh, okay.
No, because this is my biggest problem with the movie is this scene. This whole series of events. Because even I found this whole thing really anticlimactic.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
I wish they didn't make her so big. I think that's part of it.
I mean, that makes sense. Like if she was more of like one of the little, like not like a little slug, but more like slug like with some like little tentacles, as opposed to like she looked like a monster. Yeah,
or have her more like kind of like hybrid-y.
Like between kind of still human.
Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't like this big.
That's also, I mean, through the entire.
She looked like she belonged in Space Troopers. Like
yeah,
you know.
I mean, that was kind of the thing through the entire movie, just with the the humans being infected. Because I don't know if like she came and like infected a human or if she just took
Morphed.
the form of a human.
That was a question of mine too.
You know?
Yeah.
Because like the humans,
I'm leaning to
morphed.
No, I'm leaning to infected because she talks about Mary Beth in the third person in her little monologue.
Oh, well, she could have like seen a Mary Beth or like seen a person or she took that human form.
Yeah, or just is making this a persona, talking about her persona.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, they didn't really clarify on that one.
Yeah. But Casey traps it pretty cleverly in the rafters. Is that what they're called? Rafters? Bleachers.
Yeah, bleachers.
Yeah. And stabs it in the eye as it coughs up a bunch of slugs to like
that looks painful.
Him. Yeah, it did.
Just like wiggling in his face.
Yeah,
cool.
God. And then
Elijah Wood has a good scream.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I didn't really think about it.
That's a creepy thing to say.
You have a really good scream.
You have a good scream, Elijah.
Oh, that's right. His goddamn movie hero's fucking line. Guaranteed to jack you up.
Oh yeah. I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
Oh, there was one other thing. Like one of my biggest issues with it's a little in continuity things like this. When Mary Beth is walking through, like, because you see Mary Beth what looks like taking Zeke's what does he call it?
I'm just gonna call it GAC.
GAC. Yeah, I think that's what they called it.
I'm not sure if that's what it is. Because GAC is speed. That's like something for speed.
Oh, cool.
So,
you see her like what looks like she does it, and then it like cuts to a scene where it's like you see that she like blocked her nostrils with like with something like
a membrane or something.
A membrane, thank you. And then her pinky finger knocking off the blue cap. Yeah. If you watch that scene, that blue cap is on the entire time.
I rewound it too. They didn't actually.
Yeah. So it's like just the membrane would have like sold it. Like I don't know why you needed to add that extra like I think that may have been like a post-production thing where like some producer was like, I don't get it.
I don't get it, man.
It needs to be more clear.
Well, even actually, but with that scene too, that implies that she morphed into Mary Beth, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Not that she infected Mary Beth.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Because a lot of the other aliens didn't really seem to have that much of a morphing ability, really.
I mean,
like the tentacle thing.
No, exactly. But so yeah, probably. Or I mean, she's also the queen, so maybe she
can do whatever the fuck she wants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Elijah Wood saves the day. And
surprise.
Yeah. It's really quick, just like because like it's not the end of the movie.
To me, it is.
Okay, well, you can't, if we're gonna talk about a full movie review, we got to talk about the really crappy like wrap up. Yeah, I know, but there is like so the world is set back into its regular order and whatnot. Only now the characters have changed because this is their character, this is their arc. This is whether you like or not how they changed.
And all those that have been infected are back to normal.
Everyone's back to that,
except for the ones they melted.
They never really get into that.
No, they just don't bring it up.
Yeah, they just don't bring it up. Who knows? Maybe
the principal's dead. She melted.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
She was in Principal's
Jon
chowder.
Stewart was alive in the credits, so
yeah, I guess so.
But that's all. I mean, yeah. So it starts off. You get the introduction that Zeke is now playing football
While smoking cigarettes.
while smoking cigarettes.
and
It's like-
screwing the teacher.
and very clearly screwing the
she's
English.
on the bleachers
Yeah, I know,
watching
she's
him
on
waving.
the bleachers. She's like, "Hi,
Yeah.
how sweet," and just like, and he smiles like, "Yeah." Takes a drag of his cigarette, and the coach is like, "Quit smoking on the field."
You
Or like,
put that butt out. Which also was like clearly 1998 because no one would put that in a movie in today.
Yeah, right. No, not at
The
all.
teacher, even I don't care. Like right, no, that is very much a thing.
He's such the bad boy, but now he's looking for a future though, because he's playing football, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then you got Stan, who's like, he's like watching the foot. He's like, "Yeah, I've made it past that. I'm a better person." And then Stokes comes out of nowhere wearing like
Mary Beth clothes,
Mary Beth, like, yeah, purple, like pinkish, like it's
flowery.
like what? And they're happy and they kiss and they're now dating. And
She basically pulls a Sandy from Grease,
yeah, but reverse.
but reverse. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. She like suddenly is
And
now
that-
that she's.
Because since she has a boyfriend, she's not depressed and dark anymore.
Yeah, that I really didn't
no,
care
that's
for that.
exactly what it is.
I
and
would
it's
have liked it if she
fucking
just
stupid.
came out and
No, yeah, if she just came out in her dark clothes and was like, "Hey, what's up?" and like gave him a kiss. Like, "Hey, cool.
Yeah, you guys accept each other for who each other are.
Yeah,
like,
but no, she has to change. You know,
and we might be putting too much into that.
I don't
but-
think we fucking are. Like,
No.
that is garbage, in my opinion.
No, I mean, I wish they hadn't done that, but it was very much a what you thinking, stud, or what did she say?
I don't even remember. I was so like, ugh, as it was happening.
Woman Grease, Grease.
Oh, I don't even remember that. I'm so ugh, every time I'm watching that.
That's
And then you get Casey and Delilah's all fine and whatnot, and
it was nice again.
and she's not a bitch anymore. That's her arc. She's like, oh, she's nice. Well, maybe to Casey.
Yeah, that's the only one she see her
Yeah.
interact with.
And they're obviously dating because he kisses her. And, you know, and she has that little line. It's like, you know, sometimes you can actually be pretty cool. But like, he's like the hero of the world.
Well, no, because she pulls up like Time Magazine and
Person of the year.
Person of the Year and all
It's
this kind of like,
you know.
and it even says like hero or hoax, which I thought was really weird. Just kind of because like in this movie, it would have been really, really easy just to make it just this small town knew about it, or just these people knew about it.
Yeah.
Anyone infected had forgotten about what happened.
Oh no, it's gonna go mainstream because it's got to, you know, for the movie. I'm saying. You
Well,
know?
but I'm saying in the movie you could make it so it just these select people, and then the
Yeah.
world just goes on, and we only know as like it.
okay,
Like,
yeah.
we only know about the situation because we were very much involved.
Well, I mean, there's more of a magical thing with it for dairy and whatnot. Like, there's a reason why.
oh yeah, no,
yeah.
but in this, fine. You get the parasites; they kill a memory because you were infected by a parasite.
Okay,
You can
alright.
make it work, but then it's
yeah.
just like, but then it becomes this. Now this town is on the map for being known for an alien invasion,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of like a that was a wacky time.
That young kid really got it. He really saved the day.
Yeah, I'm like,
No, it's like as like
this shit would be on lockdown.
yeah, right.
Like,
And then one of the button on the entire movie, because everyone's now kissing, it's all happy. The button on the movie that I don't know if you noticed that makes it to where it's like, oh, and the world is set back into order from its chaos,
Mm-hmm.
or from into chaos from the order that was set. You
Yeah.
know? Is the group of bullies that carried Casey to the flagpole. You see them carrying a kid, and you hear just very lightly in the background, "Take him to the flagpole."
yeah. So they just the same thing that was done. It goes full circle.
It goes full circle,
Yeah.
and it's like,
I caught
and we're
that.
back into the order of this world.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the end of the movie. Not a very good end of the movie.
No, it's not. It really to the scene where you find out that Mary Beth is the queen. It completely. I feel like the setup was really good, and then it just kind of fell apart.
It stops being a horror movie at that point and becomes more of an action movie.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. You know, well, like I mean, that's why it's a horror sci-fi. It's like actually, there's a fun little joke. Like Delilah at one point calls Casey like Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, when are you gonna go all Sigourney Weaver on us or
Oh,
something
yeah,
like that?
When'd you get all Sigourney Weaver on?
Yeah,
us?
yeah, something like
It's
that.
like, what does that even mean? It's like, you're a badass bitch, dude. Like, accept it. Take it as a compliment.
I would totally.
I would.
Yeah, as an alien invasion. It's like, wow, Sigourney Weaver. Eh? I'd be like, hell yeah.
All right, so let me go into. I have like two large thoughts.
Okay.
And you can respond as you like. Okay, so it hits most, if not all, of the notes on being a horror movie of the late 90s, minus the ending of it. But it's like more like how it differs from like how it differs but likens from like the common slasher film is that there isn't really, as I talked about, isn't really a growing number of bodies, but more like allies dropping like flies, making the threat larger and more real to the world. As opposed to there being a clear threat to everyone that is aware of, our heroes find themselves isolated and separated and separate with no one believing them, only themselves. They're only there to rely on themselves. Whereas opposed to like in a lot of like slasher and like regular horror films, they're always like searching for the next like person to help us.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I got to get to the phone.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. It's like, the teacher can't help us. Okay, let's go to the principal. Okay, the principal can't help us. Let's go to our parents, and then so on.
Or
and
like
so
go
forth.
to authorities until finally it does like just turn to like, well, we got to stop it on our own.
Yeah.
But it's like it's very clear early on in this movie. It's like that's not the world of this movie.
That's not an option.
Yeah,
basically.
it's like so. This movie stands out as like in its own for it's like it still uses like the horror elements, but it's not like your classic horror film by any means.
Yeah.
All right. So, and then it's just kind of like a overthought of the entire movie. It lives well in its world of teenagers seeing. There we go. It lives well in its world of teenagers that see the world how it really is. There's a metaphor that can be found on how when teachers become corrupted, they will inevitably corrupt the youth. And that that as the students, like they're trying to find a way to overcome it. You know, it's like, so like kind of like with Invasion of the Body Snatchers or like Slither, it's like there is a huge thing of like being the outsider and trying to like, you know, overcome the corruption, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's very much more clear cut in this movie that's like teachers becoming corrupted, the adults. There's very much, and that's a very common theme through like horror films in general, especially like more paranormal ones. Is the adults, the adult figures not believing the teenagers or the children, you know?
Yeah.
And that kids don't know what they're talking about, you know? And like it's very much when the children are really experiencing something and they have no one there around them to help.
Yeah.
How they'll like band together and like find the help together.
Well, I don't know, this to go on what you're saying about the teachers corrupting the students. In a weird way, if you think about it, in a sense, they're kind of doing the opposite.
What do you mean?
So one of the teachers is a total alcoholic who's drinking on the job all the time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they flip it on its head. But
he gets infected. He no longer does that. The coach weirdly kind of becomes nicer, doesn't rip Stan's head off for quitting the team, which he would have done as a human. The English teacher no longer is timid and is stopping Zeke from being wants to stop Zeke from being a drug dealer and being a fuck up.
Yeah, but at what price are all of these things happening?
No, I know, but I'm just saying, but it's just like, actually, when you think about it, a lot of these characters' worst traits were kind of taken away.
It's true, yes.
By becoming a hive-mindy organism.
I mean, as opposed to going from like a group of teachers that really are guiding children in the wrong way and just like not giving them any like guidance, that's them becoming into a sense of like, oh, we're going to teach you the wrong way. We're going to teach you the wrong things. It's like teaching the wrong history. So then people fucking have racism in the world, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's one thing that I always really liked about horror and sci-fi in general. And I'm always going to bring it up when we're talking about horror and sci-fi, is how much it is like, there is like a hidden reflection of our society in it. You just got to like really like look at it in a different way to see it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and on that note too, I mean, there's a cool documentary called totally just lost it. I was thinking about it earlier.
No, if you can remember, let me know.
Yeah, well, if anyone else, I might just bring it up on the next one. I'll have to look. It's called like Red, White, and Horror of America.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
It's something like that, but it's basically just the history of horror cinema in America and how it's been influenced by our culture and their culture. I think I've watched
this. I think I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, they talk about that a lot. It's interesting.
No, it's one of the reasons why, like, I just naturally always loved horror movies when I was a kid growing up.
Yeah.
But like, and I don't know, maybe I just like unknowingly it spoke to me like that, you know? Yeah.
Cool.
You have any more thoughts on what I threw out there? How do you feel about it having a 6.5 rating?
Totally. Yeah. I think it's very fitting. I want to give it. It's a cult classic.
I could see it having a little bit lower one, but like it fits, you know. Yeah,
I think 6.5. I mean, I don't know. So that rating system's just weird too.
Yeah, it's true.
What would you give it?
I would give it like a 6.1.
6.1.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because overall the movie is fun and whatnot, and like for a horror movie, like I said, like kind of hits all of the notes.
How many gold stars?
Out of what?
Say 5.
3?
I don't know. I was actually trying to think of a better like rating system, but this gold stars came to mind.
No, yeah, like I said, like it kind of like hit all of the horror elements and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a horror movie with its sci-fi stuff in it, but like it does just kind of like fall out of its horror element, and once it starts revealing the queen parasite, and turns into an action and more of an action film, which also, I mean, it's Robert Rodriguez,
Yeah. I give it a 3 because like I said, I really like the build up, didn't like the end. And one of my other kind of complaints too is that there are some really cool, scary visuals, like the coach with the lightning, her head as the tentacle monster. There was like some really cool, creepy visuals, and I kind of wish they had just put a few more. In there that really popped, because there's certain ones that really just pop into your like mind. You're like, oh, that was cool.
Well, I think that's what they were hoping that the whole like queen alien would be at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I just don't think that. I think that didn't drive home nearly enough. But it's also just fun, especially to watch this movie now and see all these familiar faces.
Yeah,
just kind of thrown together and mixed up and thrown back out there. It's
crazy cast.
Yeah, it's a really out there cast. Ooh, out there. Spooky times. But any final notes? As always, I mean, I'd say watch it.
Yeah, no, I definitely recommend watch.
Yeah.
All right, I think
that's it for you guys. That's our first spooky for Halloween. Join us next week
for a side B,
and we will talk to you then. Yeah. So this is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is Tommy and Jacob's mixtape.
Pen in my eye.
It's always fun.